Ask Commissioner Sankey to lead us in prayer, please.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be here as we take care of the business of county government. So let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we ask that you would have mercy upon us and forgive us our sins according to your loving kindness and the multitude of your tender mercies. We thank you now for this, another day, Lord God, an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of those that we serve. There's so much pain and suffering here in the city and the county and across this nation. And we ask, Lord God, that you would show yourself to be strong and reach out to those, Lord God, who really, really need to hear from you, and that would be all of us. So we ask now, Father God, that you would begin to pour your spirit into our hearts so that we might be more conscious of the needs of others, and we might let our actions, Lord God, demonstrate that we certainly care for our fellow man. And so we thank you now for the opportunity to be here again, and we ask that you would lead and guide us in our thoughts, our deeds, and our action. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. Florence, we'll turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Our visitors this morning, Christy Thornton cannot be here from EMA. They have an active shooter exercise at AUM. She said she would send an updated report out this afternoon.
Okay.
We will hear today from 3 of our circuit judges, Judge Gaines, Judge Reed, and Judge Anderson. We'll hear from Grant Manager Regina Walker, and I believe the sheriff has something he wants to discuss as well that's come up since we published this. District Attorney Darrell Bailey, Senior IT Manager Rodney Smith, Manager of Public Affairs Hannah Hawk in her farewell performance, Chair Janice Jackson with the Alabama Master Gardeners, and Chairman Buddy Snipes with the Board of Registrars. We can now go over the items to be
Let me do this before you get started. Mr. Anderson, will you stand up, please? That Anderson there, not you. This is Kendall Anderson. He's our new Deputy Administrator for Montgomery County. He comes from the city of Montgomery. We want to welcome you here this morning. We want everybody to know who he is. Don't want him to be a stranger. So we're going to work him. We're putting him to work already. So good guy. Thank you.
The items to be considered during our formal session are the 2021-2022 operating budget, the 2021-2022 construction programs fund budget, consider ratification of a Project Safe Neighborhoods sub-grant award for the Sheriff's Office, consider amendment number 2 to a contract with Bob Barker Company for hygiene products for detention and the youth facility, consider a lighting services agreement with Alabama Power to upgrade the lighting fixtures at 1800 Terminal Road. Consider a lighting services agreement with Alabama Power to upgrade the leased lighting fixtures at Day Street Road. Consider enhanced data center backup and recovery for information systems. Consider cyber liability insurance renewal through Lloyd's of London. Consider excess workers' compensation insurance renewal through Midwest Employers Casualty Company. Consider medical stop-loss insurance renewal with Optima Insurance. Consider award of employee group life insurance to MetLife. Consider property insurance renewal with affiliated FM Insurance Company. Consider excess liability insurance renewal with States Self-Insurers Risk Retention Group. Consider open records request policy for the Montgomery County Commission. Consider miscellaneous appropriations to agencies.
Florence, I think we got a mix-up there. I wanted, we have Cleveland Avenue YMCA 1500. That should be 1750. And the Capri Community Film Society, that should be 1750. Wait a minute. 1500 to Cleveland Avenue Y is fine. The Capri gets $1,750, and the Cooperative Extension System gets $2,000. The way it is, we got the Extension Service and the Capri mixed up.
All right, we will get that corrected. Consider miscellaneous,
While we on this, is everybody clear on the agency balance and the education balance? Those two got to be cleared.
Yeah, I think this is prior to
Okay.
today.
Yeah.
the miscellaneous appropriations to education, those accounts all show zero balances.
Let me look at that. I think that was, okay, that correction was made. That's, okay, that one was made.
Consider miscellaneous appropriations from designated revenue. We have an update to that. The short courtroom reading initiative, we've straightened that out in terms of that money will go directly to them now that they are a 501c3. And we have added the Strong Foundation, $45,000 to repave the parking lot that was discussed at a meeting several months ago.
So why can't we pull it up on here?
What?
Why can't we pull it up? It's been, wait a minute.
Yeah, I see
Okay,
it now.
here it is. I have a question. Doug,
I'm sorry, Dan.
check your designated revenue funds. You got a $2,000, no, that's you, Elton.
Where?
On designated, you got 2,000 going to the extension service for the same thing that I got. I think they only wanted 2,000.
I didn't do that.
Need to take that off. I gave them the 2.
And that came out of your agencies.
My 2 came out of agency, I think. Okay.
Now, we know when we talk about the 45 and Strong Foundation, everybody know what that is, right?
No.
Yes.
It's the parking lot. I didn't know. I think it's your district.
Yes, it's over at Highland Village where they did the Renovate the Boys and Girls Club. And I think we committed to that some time ago, but nobody followed through before today.
Yeah, they were waiting to get their 501c3 paperwork into Teresa. I think they've done that now, Teresa.
So how much did we designate for that?
45,000. Any other questions?
No, I don't have any.
No.
Consider budget change request number 2 for the appraisal department. Consider budget change request number 1 for the county commission. Consider budget change request numbers 14, 15, 16, and 17 for county commission appropriations. Consider hiring a buyer 1 at pay grade A05, step 5 for the purchasing department. Consider hiring an account clerk at pay grade A04, step 2 for the finance department. Consider position fill request for the sheriff's office for an administrative support associate and 2 public safety communications dispatchers. Consider position fill request for the district attorney's office for an investigator 2 and an investigator 3. Consider travel training request for engineering and the sheriff's office. And those are all the items to be considered during the formal session.
Okay.
First, we'll hear from our circuit judges.
Good morning.
Morning.
To our chairman, to county commissioners, we are here today, and thank y'all guys for putting us on the agenda at the last minute. Let me say thank you for that. We are trying to do the business of the courthouse. I know there's a big thing on you all's agenda for us to try cases. And guys, let me say, we want to try cases. We want to do it in a manner that's going to keep folks safe, though. And some of the comments we got in our August venari, the people that come in for jury duty, made us, of course, not try some cases in the last couple of months. But we are doing our best to get that back going because we want to try cases. I tell folks I never want to be a Zoom master. I like to look at folks in their faces, have folks in court, space them out. We all space them out as best as we can. So today we're asking that you all will designate the Montgomery Multiplex as a building that we can use to do our venaries, select our juries. That way when we get them selected there, bring them back to the courthouse, we only have 12 plus our alternates, so max of 14 people. And that way we can then safely have those 14 folks with no problems. So we're trying to use the multiplex to do that. We've been in contact with Darrell Bailey, our sheriff, and we're going to try to go all and visit that facility after your all's process is done, just so we can get this process going. But again, we are dying to try cases. I mean, I can't wait to try them, and so hopefully, guys, you all can.
Has this been coordinated already with the city? We know the city's all right with this?
Yes, sir. As far as I know, the city is.
The space is sufficient for you to do what you need to do?
We're going to go over there and visit and make it be sufficient. Yes, sir. So we're asking you,
What
go,
do you need us to do?
waive the rules and vote on this as soon as possible and designate it so we can go ahead and
Or
use it.
designate the,
The multiplex as the courthouse.
We need a resolution.
Yes.
For 4 days, right, it's just 4 days.
So far for 4 days, but now if this works out, guys, and we got folks safe, we want to, of course, keep it going, but right now, just those 4 days. Yes, sir.
Is this because of the current renovations that's going on, and we don't have space over there?
It's mainly because of COVID.
COVID.
This is COVID.
They're trying to spread them.
We cannot sufficiently spread them out, and we had some comments from prospective jurors back in August that they said they didn't feel safe and all these other issues, so we're trying to get them spread out even more.
So even with the current renovations, the 13 million plus at the courthouse, we just don't have the space?
COVID has just.
I don't know it's about
Yeah,
COVID.
it's just COVID.
I would just thought maybe we had considered a lot of that when we spent the money to renovate.
Let me say it. You'll never hear me say anything bad about them renovations. We love them, okay? Let me make sure I'm clear. I love those renovations. But because of COVID and those comments from citizens of Montgomery, we're just trying to get space to spread them out even more. And other jurisdictions are doing this around the state because just even those, their facilities probably bigger around the state, but they're trying to get even more space.
Yeah, and
to
the
make sure.
multiplex provides probably 3 or 4 times the space for people to be in the multiplex. And, Mr. Chairman, I'm in full support of this.
Well, yeah, I am too, but I need to say something, because this commission has been very disappointed that there has been no jury trial. We heard that they having jury trial all over the state except Montgomery. We had a meeting with the presiding judge, and he's supposed to come back and let us know what the decision was. I mean, I haven't heard from him. I don't know whether the rest of us heard from him. This idea that you all have is a long time coming. I mean, when you're going to have jury trial for 3 or 4 months, I consider the judges some of the smartest people in Montgomery, okay? And I'm trying to say why we didn't figure this out earlier to make sure we had jury trial. Mr. Bailey told us he had about 200 and some people up there in that jail that probably need to go to trial.
Yes, sir.
And that's bad for Montgomery. They don't say nothing about the judges. They say something about Montgomery County. And it is on the commission. So we need to have some better communication. We need to be part of what the decisions are when you all vote on certain things and why you do it that way. I thought maybe you could have had one group in here. This is a large room also. This was available, along with the multiplex and some other things. We open to ideas that help keep us going. If the news is good, it's Montgomery. If it's bad, it's printed as Montgomery County Commission not doing what they supposed to do. Like he was saying about the courthouse, yeah, we got the renovation and stuff, but that's different. This is about COVID. This is about COVID. So we just expect for you all to communicate with us like you're doing now. And I appreciate Mr. Bailey coming up with ideas and stuff too. We all got to work together because it don't fall on y'all, it fall on us here. So
Let me
we
just
try
say,
to make sure that we assist you in whatever you do.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure everybody up here is in full support
Find out.
of what you got, what your idea is today.
and I'll apologize on all of us' behalf, just, for the lack of communication, but we're gonna do a better job with that.
Yeah.
And we'll come in and ask for help more, and I appreciate you offering this, because sometimes breaking that group up and having some here, having some in the multiplex, and having some in our renovated space may be an option too. So I appreciate that too.
Okay.
But we're trying our best to get this thing back going, because like I said, we've been handling hearings, sure, but we want to get back to trying cases too.
Well, one thing, Mr. Chairman, JR was joking with me about bringing statistics to y'all, but we've disposed of over 2,200 civil cases, non-jury, this calendar year, and about 900 criminal cases. But our backlog, as you know, is with these serious cases that we've got to have jury trials with. And we started a couple of times. I tried a murder case this past spring, and we were able to spread it out with the jury. It's the feedback we got from the public about sitting next to when we have 300 potential jurors. And this will, Lee County did this with the Goods Center, and so we appreciate that. We're going to get these cases tried, and our district attorney's been chomping at the bit to get them. And so we're all going to set these murder cases.
And these are started in November, correct?
These will be
So
November.
do we need to waive rules today? Are y'all on a timeline?
What we're asking
Okay.
is a resolution to designate that area for us to have court.
What are those dates? Do we have,
November 1st and 2nd, and November 15th and 16th.
we already got something drawn up?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I'm fully in support of it. You mentioned the DA, but there's pressure on the sheriff, and there's pressure on the sheriff's budget. Because as long as those people stay up there in that jail, the more we have to feed them, the more we have to buy medicine for them. So, we want to get this thing moving. So excellent idea that you're bringing forth, and I have absolutely no objections to waiving the rules.
Mr. Chairman, I did want to tell you that we did try cases in July. I tried a murder case in July to verdict. And as Judge Anderson was saying, some of the issues are, we got defendants, this particular defendant was looking at a mandatory life without if convicted. So he wasn't going to do anything but try his case, which is the story with a lot of the backlog and a lot of the more violent crimes. But there were some concerns raised, and we are down one floor, 3 courtrooms currently, which they tell us hopefully by the end of November, we will be back in our own courtrooms again. Right now, we're alternating courtrooms. So we're down a whole floor that we hope to get back by the end of November. And we're very thankful for the renovations and the new environment.
You raised something interesting. Has this been coordinated with the sheriff and keeping y'all safe? Y'all have had some rambunctious trials up there. You gonna be safe down there at the
Well,
Civic Center?
The murder case that I tried, the gentleman was found not guilty. He'd been waiting 3 years for his trial. We've got constitutional issues on speedy trial also.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate y'all helping us out.
all this will do is have jury selection at the multiplex. So those hundreds of people will go there as opposed to going
And
into
then
our,
the cases be tried still in your court?
yes.
Right.
Okay.
And the good news, the 3rd floor will be ready December the 1st
We hope
for
so.
trial. It is, should be.
And that way, in December, we have trial week, instead of running 3 courtrooms, we can run all 6, which will make this even better. So we're trying our best. Any other questions? Okay, thank y'all, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.
Next, we'll hear from Grant Manager Regina Walker.
have two grants that we are asking you to waive rules on. I'm not sure which one is first. The Adecka traffic grant, that is an annual grant that we receive from Adecka to help with hotspot policing and enforcement. You've heard of some of them, click it or ticket, drives over, get pulled over. So that's that annual contract agreement. The next one is a 8 ATL. That's our Homeland Security grant. It's to reimburse Alabama Law Enforcement Agency for their active shooter training. 100% of it goes to that for the alert training. And that's it.
And you're asking to waive rules on both those
Yes,
items?
ma'am. I'm sorry, I'm asking for waive rules on both.
Okay.
Any questions? Thank you.
Sheriff Cunningham, do you want to speak about the ADPH grant that came up the end of the week?
Lawrence, while we're talking now, this meeting on September 23rd, what time is it? It's not on here. Commission, the special call.
The ARP, 1 o'clock.
Is that the meeting on Thursday at 1? Okay.
All right. Well, good morning to you all. I know I ain't speak to everybody, but I always do that. Good morning. Okay, that grant that you're talking about with ADPH is some funding they got from DOJ. $6 million will go to the Department of Corrections, $5 million to county jails, like $250,000 going to municipal jails, and then plus they got $250,000 going to the Department of Youth Services, so all the youth facilities will be able to apply as well. But this is just a grant to help on the mitigation of COVID-19 in your lockup facilities, and we're going to apply for it. The next time we have a Zoom meeting, I was going to have Sonny Brassfield and you on the call, Florence, and so he'll bring you up to date. I just met with the steering committee yesterday, and I told them that we really needed to make sure that we have the county commission on board, because a lot of your rural counties wouldn't be able to have the upfront money to be able to pay for the items that they're requesting. So we're making sure that the county commission is involved. And also, you all know that me being the sheriff, I can't sign for a grant. I can authorize it, but it has to come through the chairman. So we're making sure everybody's on the same page. But this $5 million will be for county jails throughout the state. So we're actively looking at what we can get as far as the mitigation and of COVID.
Now, what do we have to do? I think you were talking, see,
Same thing we do on these other grants.
I was just telling him, though, that we need the help of an architect to come up with some projected costs for the,
Yeah, okay.
whatever that you said needed to be
Yeah,
done in that
the
room.
deep pressure room. We're planning on trying to get a deep pressure room put in booking, so that when people are brought into the jail, they'll go into a non-pressure room until we are tested for COVID and moved into the general population. So we're just getting some costs on that, and the only person that can really do that will be an architect.
well, don't you have an architect that's been working over there? What is that, who is it,
Yeah, right now.
Rains? Ain't that who-
Patrick,
PH&J.
PH&J has been doing
is-
it.
P.H.J. over in the jail and over there too? They all
No,
over? Nobody else?
no, Gaines is at the courthouse. PH&J is at the jail.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's who you gonna use?
Yeah, I think Florence is going to reach out to him.
You know, all these things we supposed to do, we just got to start doing it, you know.
Yeah.
We get behind. Got
I'm
to
just-
take care of business.
Yeah, our deadline is like October the 15th to have everything submitted, so we're on a fast track right now.
All right. Okay.
That's it?
Thank you.
All right.
Michael Burdell is going to speak with you about item number 4. which is another waive rule request.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alabama DHR enters into 3-year agreements with you to provide child support services in Montgomery County by the District Attorney's Office. The proposed agreement right now is for a term that will start October 1st of this year and run through September 30th of 2024. There's no cost to the county. We invoice you, and then you're reimbursed by DHR. Our budget in a typical fiscal year is 1.1 million, but each month of the year, our child support enforcement unit brings in $1.4 million from parents who are trying to shirk their responsibilities to their children.
No objection.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more waive rule item we have is just the contract with the examiners for our annual audit of federal funds. It needs to be returned to them by the end of this month, and so we're asking that you waive rules on that.
But why did we get to a point that they had to waive rules on that?
Because even though this letter is dated August 20th, it was received by email after the last meeting. Next, we'll hear from Rodney Smith.
Good morning. We're bringing it to you to look at renewing an MOU with the City of Montgomery to jointly fund the Internet Exchange, which is I don't know if y'all remember back in 2015, they kind of started that up, and now we have 28 members that's part of that help peer with each other, deliver content. The annual budget for it for the last 3 years has been around $75,000. So at a 60-40 split, which is the proposal, the county would be looking at about $30,000 a year going forward, as estimated costs.
What type of calls are those?
$30,000.
I know, but what?
Oh, that's for,
I thought
well,
you had it.
yeah, the funding provides for the equipment, the space, the servers, everything they have up there at the RSA data center.
That was a big deal when we started that, and I think it's still a big deal now, so.
Yes, sir.
Let's see why we can't continue that.
Are the committee members still the same, Mr. Chairman?
Next agenda goes on.
Yeah.
Committee members for that?
I thought you said a waiver. You said a waiver. That's not a waiver.
No, it's
No,
not a
sir.
waiver.
Members of waiver. Say what now?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just waiting on you to finish. I was just, the committee members for that particular organization, are they still the same?
I don't know who the committee members
Aren't you?
Well, under the new MOU, it's going to be that the city IT department, the city are the main players that's managing it. We're there to assist whenever they need us, like for extra technical resources. But they will be the ones managing it. And our part of that cost will be, roughly $30,000 a year to keep it going.
Rodney, could you give us a list of, you said how many you got, how many?
28
28?
members, yeah, it's grown quite a bit. We have,
Give us a list of who signed up so far.
you want me to email or
Yeah,
just?
just email it.
Okay.
I'm all right. I'd just like to know who we have so far.
Yeah, it's all the big service provider, internet service providers around here are pretty much part of it, except your AT&T, of course. They do their own thing.
Yeah.
Okay, next agenda. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Hannah Hawk.
We gonna let her talk today?
I guess we have to.
Last time.
Good morning. You have your calendars before you, and I also wanted to quickly go over the latest on the rental assistance numbers. So 1.75 million has been dispersed, and roughly $2.5 million has been approved. So just getting those invoiced. We have roughly 1,700 applications have been received. And just a little update on those, 435 have been approved, but we have over 1,000 that have not completed their applications. So sometimes people think that they've completed it, but they have not put in the documentation that they need. And so that is tending to hold some things up as well.
So after today, who will give that report?
I'm sorry, say that again?
After today, who's going to give that report?
Our new deputy administrator.
Say what?
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, our new deputy administrator, is going to be working on our rental assistance program.
And then we've actually had over $9 million requested. So we are getting that in. And just so you know, obviously we have, the state has theirs and then we have ours. But for Montgomery County residents, for the state, just shy of $4 million has been approved through the states for Montgomery County residents. So we've got,
Combined or just the state?
that's the states. So we're over 6 million, or nearly 6 million, right?
Hannah, that sounds good, but I'm still dissatisfied with the money that we have.
That's less than a third.
Yeah.
We've only given 2.5 million, you say, right?
Yes.
Has to do with you or
Yeah,
whoever.
2.5 million,
Yeah.
you know, we'll,
And we
well,
made that money how long?
you're on your way out the door, but we're talking Kendall because it's just, hopefully the process, you said they hadn't got their documents in. My understanding is that the request for documents is just unending,
Well, that's federal requirements.
you know, yes.
So
But
that
that's
is
an
holding
issue,
stuff up.
Yeah. And my understanding was it was going to be addressed with some, under some newer guidelines, with some new money. And hopefully that it is, because it's discouraged a lot of people from even applying. They just dropped out.
And it is a lot. I've really, sat there and walked people through and trying to help them upload it and understand it. So it is a lot. But I do know that much of that is federal requirement. The hope is that that will change, though, with the next time. Yeah.
So Florence, the agreement with the Coalition for the Homeless, are they actually helping the people get through some of this paperwork process?
Yes.
Do they know that they can actually, how do they know that they can call them?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's on our website. It's one of the numbers listed to say if you want help, this is how you can get help to apply. So it's on there. We've actually had them go on a few times, actually, on different news outlets and different media outlets to talk about it and how they can assist.
Are we paying them too?
Yes, sir.
So are we monitoring what they do? Or do we ever report from them? Or
We don't,
we paying them, we need to know
we'll
the
get a,
progress.
Yeah, and I can't remember what they told us last, so it's been a
We're
bit.
gonna have to get on top of this. Okay. People that we paying, we need to expect for them to get a report from them.
Okay. And lastly, before I leave, I just want to personally and publicly thank you. Thank you, Commissioners, Chairman Dean, Florence. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as Manager of Public Affairs for the Montgomery County Commission, and I am grateful to have been able to play a part in helping to make a difference for our county. So thank you.
And while
It's not too late to change your mind.
I'll give, since we're there, I'll give some comments, and I expect for the rest of the team up here to give comments. You have changed the paradigm of Montgomery County. A lot of people didn't know that Montgomery County even exists, and you publicized us. Even though, you always wanted us to be on TV, I wanted you to be the spokesman for the whole county, because you're good. It's going to be hard to replace her. I just can't tell you all the things that she's done since she's been here. Well, I got a warrant out for arrest.
And trial to be very soon, too, so.
Good. Come in.
I've already spoken with her privately. I don't want to start tearing up here in front of people, so.
Oh, yeah, Hannah, she knows she's done a great job in terms of our media exposure. I thought we would be able to work together again post-COVID on taking the county commission to the communities, and you certainly did a great job with that. And and oftentimes it's the small things that count. And I know that with the resolutions that I've asked you to do for birthdays and other celebrations of citizens that we serve, you've been so kind to do that. Even on, you allowed me to interrupt your schedules on days off and that type stuff. And I appreciate you very much. And don't forget about my little grandson. He still wants to hang out with your son. All right. Yeah, thank you.
Everybody has mentioned, you know, your professionalism and the unique aspects that you brought to this job and helped us promote the county. But I'm really just gonna miss your fun and a little silly and super smart, and you've brought a ray of sunshine. You've made county government fun again. And county government's not necessarily fun, but it's just, you make everything that you're at more fun. And that's a real blessing, to be smart and capable of doing your job, but also just enjoyable to be around. And lighthearted, and you don't take yourself or the world too seriously, which is something that's gonna serve you well for the rest of your life. But you're not gonna be far. You're still gonna be around, and we'll still be seeing you, but it does leave a huge hole and a huge void. So thank you for all that you've done.
Dan?
Hannah, you came in here, and for the first time, we actually, and I did, feel like we really had someone to represent us publicly and someone to put us on the map. What you've done, the innovations that you've brought to publicizing what the county commission does and what it means to the people of Montgomery County is unmatched. Your predecessor the job of public relations was just a title then. It was not a job. You've really brought substance to that position. I guess the thing that I'm going to miss the most is that, you know, it's that personal touch that you have. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can text you on your personal phone. I can call you. You call me, and whatever I ask you to do you get on it and you get it done. You know, and so the thing that that stands out the most really is your ability to come up with innovative solutions. We're going to miss that. I wish you all the luck and success. But if something goes wrong, you know, come on back. All right.
I'm gonna record that and save it.
Oh, you crying. Okay. Okay, let's carry on.
Next, we'll hear from Janice Jackson with the Alabama Master Gardeners.
I was going to see if I was going to get some assistance. Good morning, Commissioners. It's good to see you this morning.
You can, yeah.
Yeah,
help
I
us
think
hear
I don't
you.
do well through a mask. Wanted to ask for your financial support. The Alabama Master Gardener Association is a 501(c) for the state. We have over 2,000 volunteers. We give a large amount of hours, over 200,000 hours last year in educational outreach. We are a volunteer arm of the County Extension Service, and there are approximately 38 associations in the state. We, pre-COVID, had an annual conference that is hosted by the local groups, and it is rotated all over the state. It is all handled by volunteers, and the local groups, in this case next year in 2022, Montgomery's Capital City Master Gardeners and Elmore's Central Alabama are working together. We're hosting it at the Embassy Suites. We will have people from all over the state and some outside the state that will attend. You know, we always do this because we've had the last 2 conferences canceled because of COVID. But it's an educational opportunity to further education both for us and for the community, because the public is invited. And we split if there's a profit, we split it with the state organization, but we raise all the funds locally. And as you can guess, we signed the contract before COVID, and I just looked at the budget for food, or the menu for the food from the Embassy Suites, and it is a lot more. I mean, I just saw it yesterday, and I'll be honest, my jaw dropped. So that's part of the amount. That's our a lot of what we can do. Your support would help us open up possibilities for both us and the general public, because the Embassy Suites has a very limited area for vendors, and we're looking at the possibility of renting the train shed for a 1-day, that we could have vendors from all over the state, primarily in this area, but all over the state, that could sell both to the attendees and to the general public. Also help with some of the expenses for a social, a get-together, the meals. We've got speakers coming from 3 different states to speak to the group. I'm trying to say, and we have not had the conference since 2010. I see it as an opportunity for downtown Montgomery. We have master gardeners all over the state, but we also have them in all of your areas. You may have been contacted by 1 or 2 of them to ask for your support, but I want to see if you have any questions in addition to the information I've just shared and the information that we submitted earlier.
So thank you for being here, Janice. Just to confirm, Montgomery hasn't hosted this since 2010, you just
Correct.
said. Okay.
And you say you looked at the revised cost. Are you able to share that with us?
I
did.
did
It's on
not
the-
bring, that's
No, I
like
didn't
a
see it.
30-page document,
Yeah.
but I can share some
know you
things
say- yeah.
I shared with Mr. Singleton. The boxed lunches start at $22 a piece. The plated dinners are $35 a
That's through the
piece
embassy.
for the
And
embassy.
when you
Wait
use
till
their
the next one.
facility, you use their
Oh, and
catering service.
Commissioner Singleton loves this one. A gallon of coffee is $59.
That's a
call.
shame.
Needless to say, and I just saw that yesterday,
And
so
they
I
don't
had to
give you an
make,
option, you have to use their
yes, we
service
cannot bring
when
food
you use their
in
facility.
Embassy Suites.
No,
And,
everybody's getting hit with these higher prices.
and
right
that's
now.
why that nice budget that we started out with has now gotten exponentially increased.
And the attendees, those who register for this event, is there a cost for them?
Oh, yes, they pay a registration fee. That includes, it does not include the room, but it includes, to help defray the speakers' costs, because we've got speakers coming from Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi, in addition to the ones in in Alabama. And the meals, the audio visual and all those other costs that are associated with conferences.
You expect about 300 to 400, you say? According to whatever.
Well,
in the
yes,
past, I
and
guess.
with COVID, everybody goes, this is based on previous conferences and before COVID, because we haven't had any in the last 2 years.
$10,000.
I think that's a real reasonable
I did
ask.
ask for $10,000.
Yes, sir.
And you, Robin, don't you work in our county extension office too, don't you?
All the associations volunteer and help the county extension service. And I think if you've had a chance to look at the information, these are just some of the projects we work with. East South, the Botanical Garden, the Shakespeare Garden, Lily's Garden that's at one of the schools, Old Alabama Town. We do free lunch and learn every month at the Armory. We have a speakers bureau. We have Harvest with Health, where we work with cancer survivors.
Janice, let me jump in. Mr. Chairman, this is an event that hasn't been in Montgomery in over a decade. It's a very reasonable ask of a small portion of their budget, and I'm excited that we're starting to have more opportunities to put heads in beds in Montgomery. I recommend that the commission grant their request of $10,000 to go towards this conference.
Elmore County Commission to give you 10 too.
We already have some, and we're asking for more, don't worry.
Yeah. And, you know, and I thought of the same thing. You know, Montgomery's getting the benefit of the hotel rooms and the lodgings, but I definitely want them.
And the city's getting the lion's share of that.
Yeah, I definitely want,
So city.
From Elmore County who has agreed to make a
yeah.
donation.
So Elmore's going to support and participate, and that's positive,
So
but.
you're both from the statewide organization?
We're local. We're
You're
county.
local.
But we are the
I,
conference chairs for
The
the
statewide
conference for
conference.
statewide.
I'm familiar with the local. When I was first elected back in 2012, one of the first things that I did was attend your annual luncheon out at Wind Lake and presented a resolution and a bunch of awards to Master Gardeners of the Year. The organization is strictly volunteer, and it provides a very, very valuable service, I think, to the citizens of Montgomery County. I know if you got something growing in your yard and you don't know what it is, all you gotta do is call the Master Gardener, they'll tell you.
Yeah, there's a
Or-
helpline, and I believe we've helped you previously,
Or if you
too.
got something in your yard that won't grow, you call them,
That was my
and they'll
problem.
tell you how to,
Okay, guys.
they'll tell you how to make it grow. I do know of you, and I've been supportive of you, and this is a time where we're trying to get our coffers refilled from COVID and have a comeback from COVID. I don't have a problem with supporting you on this, but the revenue that comes from your being here, the lion's share of it, the city gets it. So you might want to hit up.
Don't worry,
Your city
don't
council
worry,
people.
we are.
We also have a meeting with Pike Road tomorrow with Mayor Stone.
Yeah, good. Thank you, ladies.
And you, of course, will be acknowledged in our conference booklet, so, and other possible additional things.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can we put that request on our next?
Yes, you can.
agenda?
Next agenda, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And from what fund?
What we got left in the designated?
Yeah. The joint.
Okay.
I thought it was running up.
Huh?
Do what? Oh, from our fund.
Next, Buddy Snipes, the chairman of the Board of Registrars.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Warren?
I'm here today to further discuss an item that we discussed a couple weeks ago at the commission meeting when I was here to invite you to visit our offices. This revolves around increasing compensation to the Board of Registrars. I know I sent you some correspondence on it earlier, but I have after further research, we've determined that the commission can increase the compensation to the Board of Registrars without state-sponsored legislation. And further, the commission by rule can allow the same registrars to participate in the Montgomery County Health Insurance Program. So today, I'm respectfully requesting the commission to add 2 items to the agenda for the October 5th meeting, is that correct? To the agenda One is to increase the compensation paid to the Board of Registrars to $80 per day, and two is to allow each registrar to participate in the Montgomery County Health Insurance Program as elected officials are allowed to do.
Well, let me say this, and I want to come off right with this. Your office does not look like Montgomery. Your office don't look like the employees of Montgomery County. We don't choose the people in your office. I think you got some elected officials from the state that choose the people that's in your office, right?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And I have a hard time doing for your people what we do for our people, because something's got to change. You know, Montgomery County is a 60-something% other than Caucasian, and we want to make sure that all our offices in Montgomery County look that way also. Maybe not at 60%, but we need some representation over there. A lot of things go on when we talk about voting and registering people to vote. That's a very important office. And when you got people of the other persuasion there, there's a question mark there all the time. We have a lot of comments about voter registration and people voting. So how can you help us with that?
Well, the Board of Registrars are actually appointed, you're correct, by state elected officials, the governor, the commissioner of agriculture, and the
So
state
can't they give them the raise?
Sir?
Can't they give them that raise and stuff? Since they're appointed by them? Why should that be a county function?
The state contributes a portion of the compensation to the county to support the compensation that the county pays.
You know?
And we feel that we work for the county, and so the county gets the most benefit from that. But further to your question about appointments are done after, the next round of appointments for these positions comes after the elections, the state elections in 2022. And the commission can certainly develop a group of persons qualified to be appointed as registrars to be submitted to the elected officials that appoint the registrars.
Well, the dominant party have that choice. And, you know, we, Democrats and Republicans up here, but we all try to do the right thing for this community and the people that we represent. We represent everybody. Whether they're Koreans, Mexicans, or whatever, we represent everybody in Montgomery County. So we try to do the right thing regardless of what our party affiliation is. So the dominant party in the state gets all the choices. They chose you. So some things have to change. That's just mine. I just wanted to say that.
I understand.
Everybody else got in the comments and how they feel about what your request is.
So Mr. Chairman, you're saying you support everyone within the county of Montgomery, but you won't support his request because his office is too white.
His office too white. What's his office too
You
white?
said his office is too
Well,
Caucasian,
I
it's
use
too
the
white.
I use the white vote, I say.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm concerned. I know that they had some discussion with with Mr. Sonny Brasfield on his minority steering committee. Across the entire state of Alabama, in county government, of course, the registrars, as you say, are appointed by the three state officials. But it just seems unreasonable to ask the county to support a healthcare cost increase or salary increase if the county doesn't have any role in deciding who is going to be appointed to the Board of Registrars. It just seems unfair to put that burden on the taxpayers when they don't really have, the people here in Montgomery County or this commission doesn't have anything to say about, who's on that board. And so that is a statewide concern, actually, that's being addressed through the Minority Steering Committee with the Association of County Commissioners for the state of Alabama.
I understand. However, the county does support us through compensation now. I'm just asking you to increase that
Right,
compensation.
and I think it's just coming to our attention that, you know, it's not, it doesn't represent the makeup of the county. The Board of Registrars for all the counties don't reflect the makeup of the people in those particular counties. And so we are concerned about that, and that is something that's been actually discussed with the Alabama Association of County Commission at this
let me
time.
say
I
this.
understand, Commissioner Sankey,
Let me
but to
say this,
further that-
if I wanted to say,
Oh, excuse me.
I don't support your department because you're too white, Elton Dean would have said that. I say what I feel, and now it's time to bring something to the light. I didn't say I wasn't going to support it, but I wanted to bring it to your attention that I'm aware of how people get appointed. I never did say I wasn't going to support it.
Well, I wish you had, because, I mean, my problem is, and this has something to do with yours because you're state appointed, but my problem is the state's always pushing these sort of things down on the county. Whenever there is a pay increase or there's more money to be spent, even though it's a state, it's just something that the state has appointed, these people work for the state, they want the county to pay for it. That's my problem. It's always been my problem. So, you know, I think that we should be your last resort. If you take a piece of legislation, go to the local delegation and have them present something and get a raise from the state, have them raise it. Every time we go down there and try to get a raise for our people, they're still, last time we went down there, we tried to get a raise for the sheriff serving papers. They took a third of that money and gave it to a state employee. You know, but everything that they pass, they want to push the cost of it down to us. So, you know, my thing is, if you want to raise, and you're appointed by statewide elected officials, those statewide elected officials should be the ones that are putting the raise forward to you, to the legislature, saying, look, if you want me to keep appointing these people, you better pay them.
Buddy,
I guess there are several other
you're
departments
appointed, right?
listening to what he's
Yes,
saying.
sir.
You're appointed.
I was appointed by the governor.
That have
of the
state
of Alabama.
It
employees.
seems to me like the issue is that there needs to be something changed because the three people in the state offices are appointing 67 Board of Registrars
Yes, sir.
counties.
Yes, sir.
They appoint all 67 counties.
Yes, sir, that's
Seems like
correct.
that'd be a hard task. It seems like they ought to put some of that back into the local. Changing some of the appointees to having local
How many
bodies
are they
make the
paid?
appointees.
I'm curious of my colleagues, how many conversations have you guys had over the years with the Secretary of State or the legislative delegation about this process? This process has been in place for a very, very long time. So we're kind of, you know, aiming our frustration here, but I wonder if you've ever taken these concerns to the Secretary of State or the three statewide appointing entities.
It's going to take, I think it's in the Constitution, it's going to take, we're going to take it to our local delegation.
It's going
and
to
have
take
them change the
legislative
law.
action to change it. Mhm.
They're going to have to change the law. I
Well,
mean,
Right.
if I may add, the state started out, 40 years ago and, at a compensation of $50 per day. They raised it to $60. And when they actually initiated it at $50 per day, the county commission agreed to pay $35 per day to that total compensation. And then
So that was 4 years ago?
then the state raised the fee to $60. The county did not follow suit. The state again, 4 years ago, raised the fee to $80, and the county did not follow suit. So we're just asking the county to keep up with the,
It is so gracious of the state to send us somebody down here to work and pay them a portion of the pay when we pay the light bill, we pay, you keep pay your employees, we're paying everything else. But yet we gotta keep up with them because they wanna make your salary, bring your salary up to date. The state should at least do that. I mean, we don't mind paying, we build these buildings, we maintain these buildings, we do all this for state employees. And then when it comes down to pay them, we have to all but fund our district attorney's office. because the state, and these are state employees, because the state won't pay them. You know, I mean, something has to change in Alabama, and it's not going to change as long as people go along with it on the bottom end. Some pressure has to go up from somewhere on this thing. They're not thinking about changing the way you're appointed. They're not thinking about that. And as long as we go along with increasing the pay every time and taking on the burden, the state has a health program. They have the same health program, Blue Cross Blue Shield, the same one we got. You know, that's my thing. I'm at a point where, you know, I think it's time out for the state being able to mandate stuff and push it down and make the county pay for it.
And Mr. Knights, I'm certainly not frustrated at all. I'm somewhat, disappointed that we don't have more equity and inclusion when it comes to appointing the Board of Registrars. But as Commissioner Walker said, we should be in touch with those appointing officials. However, sometimes you're not aware of the inequities that exist until you have an opportunity to talk about it. And so that's where I am. I didn't realize that, hadn't even thought about it until one of my colleagues from Coosa County brought it to my attention, and then I began to look at it, and I said, that certainly does not seem fair for the county to have to pay the bill when we have no appointing authority. So that's where I am on that.
This has been the just to be fair, look at a little history. This has been the process to appoint registrars for decades. While the Democrats were in control of the legislative branch, the Democrats were in control of the executive branch. This was the process then, and it's still the same process now. We can't be hypocritical and not like something when we're not in charge. When the Democrats were in charge, this is exactly the way they did it.
Hold your horses.
This is exactly the way they did it.
Hold
So
your horses,
again, colleagues, if you don't like it, this is a state-level issue. You need to go to the legislature, and you need to go to the appointing authorities, who have been the same appointing authorities for decades.
Commissioner, I understand what you've said, but the same people that are Republicans today, they were Democrats back then.
There are a lot of them that did switch, that's true.
No. It's the same people who were Republicans, who were Democrats when this thing was put in place. They're Republicans now. It took some thought to put an ag commissioner, who else? What kind of thought process was it to put those three people to appoint the electorates?
Well, I wonder why Don Siegelman didn't change this when he was governor. I wonder, because you're making a thing of it. Let's just don't be
Mr.
hypocritical.
Chairman, can I make a comment?
Wait a minute, do a call. When I'm speaking to people all over Montgomery, I say we operate not as Democratic Republicans. We operate as elected officials that care about everybody. Now, to bring these party affiliates up here talking about the party, I can't go along with that. And because we've been doing something for decades, that don't mean we can't change it. Hell, I couldn't vote in '65, but
Well,
I
then
can vote now.
let's get it changed, but the initial beef was that the people that serve that are appointed to the Board of the Registrars, even though they're from Montgomery County, you didn't feel that they represent Montgomery County.
And then we're gonna put it on the next agenda for a vote.
Well,
I mean, come on.
yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Snipes is here. He's the messenger basically, and unless we can change how it's done, and I agree with that, local should be the one making the appointees if we're going to make it the payments. Mm-hmm. But I think we all agree that the compensation they have now is probably inadequate to have anybody of any value that wants to serve in that very critical role. So that's kind of what we're talking about today, is whether or not the compensation they receive should be increased. And unless we can do something to change who makes the appointees, I'm all in favor of that. But we need to focus on what the issue is today, and then let's make a push through our delegation somehow to try to get that change. I'm all in favor of that.
It couldn't happen October the 5th anyway, right? Because you got to put it on the next agenda to vote on it, right?
Right, it would,
Excuse me, Chairman Dean, again, what Commissioner Singleton is saying is, what I'm advocating for is for now and the future. And where somebody else will be standing here potentially in the next 2 years, and his color may certainly be different from mine, and
I doubt it.
he may not want to have this position because it's, you know, he can't afford to live on that salary.
And we have the passion, to get that changed, so let's work on that
It would not
passion.
matter to me who was standing there. If the state's trying to make us pay for something, they should be paying for it. That's my whole thing. It doesn't matter who it is. I've said this, I don't care who it is when they come down here. When the state's trying to push something down on us, they could provide all these things you're asking us for, the state can do that. And they should do it. You know, they never help us with anything. I mean, it's always trying to take from the county. And whenever we go down there to that state, our own delegation, to try to get things out of them, they're telling us what we need, and telling us how to do this and how to do that. I'm frustrated with it.
I would encourage us as a commission for the next quadrennium, when these positions are reappointed, I would encourage us as a commission to put together a list of suggestions for these statewide officials. Oftentimes, they don't get any suggestions from local elected officials. They go to local elected officials for input. So I suggest that we get together and put together some recommendations for the next quadrennium.
So moving forward, Mr. Snipes, you know, the conversation has to start somewhere, and it's nothing
What
against you.
What about?
I understand.
What about
I'm
getting
just
them
starting
to-
the conversation for you.
Getting them to start. What about getting them to pay?
And
I would support a piece of legislation to get them to.
Commissioner Harris, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the county commission can go to the state legislative delegation and get a bill passed where the state is not involved and you're 100% involved, therefore it's 100% your choice. And the state will back out, and then it becomes 100% your expense, just like Jefferson County.
Obviously, you have never met our local delegation. There is absolutely no way that we could convince that bunch to put forth a piece of legislation that gives us that power.
Well, Jefferson County did it. The
That's
registrars in Jefferson
Jefferson
County
County. This is
work for
Montgomery
Jefferson County.
This is Montgomery County.
I think, yeah.
I understand. I'm just saying.
Solutions here. We're coming up with
They're
reasons.
appointed by Jefferson County Commission, right. In other words, you can be in charge of it if you want to.
You're right, you're right.
You pick the same legislations that Jefferson County got passed, and you can be 100%
Trust me,
control.
I didn't say all that to throw the dots at you. But I had a concern, and it always been my concern.
We're gonna look into that.
We're gonna look into it.
Yeah.
But I'm still asking the question. We have to vote on it, right? You have to vote on it.
The commission would have to vote on this, yes.
Put it on the next
Next
agenda.
agenda.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm saying it wouldn't happen October the 5th.
But I don't think the date of an increase would matter.
Okay, well, you all want to put on the next agenda? I know you probably got enough people. I would agree to do that.
And I'll commit to the state representatives that represent my district, I will commit to encourage them to get some legislation for this.
That's fine, but do we want to put on the next agenda?
I want to put on the next agenda. I mean, again, what we're voting on is compensation, it's not we're not voting on who's going to be on this. It's just the
Right.
compensation going forward.
Okay.
And I think we all agree it probably needs to be.
In the short run, you can increase the compensation some,
I got you.
and then move forward with the legislation.
You have 3 people who want to put on the next agenda?
Please.
Isaiah?
Yeah, we're gonna vote, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan?
Well, why don't we, while we're doing this, just vote on a resolution to ask the state, to ask our local delegation to put forth legislation to change this.
Okay.
Who said that?
Doug.
I mean, we need to do that.
We're gonna be working on that too, so, but,
Gonna be working on it.
yeah. The resolution, we're gonna do the resolution. We're gonna do that. But do we want to put on the next agenda?
Again, next agenda is just increasing their,
No, you voting it up or down the next agenda.
you can vote up and down the increase.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement that we do need to go to our local delegation and meet with them, and I'll contact mine today and just run up the
Going
flagpole.
over the same thing over and over. We know we got to do that.
Mr. Snipe, you said that your research revealed that this body could actually provide those increases without the local delegation, the state local delegation being involved.
That is true.
Where did that come from?
It came from a part of a, it came from a part of a bill that Section 17-3-13 concerning compensation increases. It says, a county commission upon adoption of resolution may increase the per diem compensation paid to each member of the county board of registrars without the necessity of enacting local law authorization.
That does not surprise me. Anything, they'll let you do that. They won't let you appoint them, they'll let you pay them.
We put it on the next agenda.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Can you get a copy of what he said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can get a copy from him? Whatever you
I've got a copy of it.
Okay, well, okay, all right, thank you. Okay, what's next?
We have several more items to cover, and we also have a request for an executive
Yeah,
session.
well,
Item number 7 is consider a grant agreement between the Montgomery County Commission and the Alabama Department of Youth Services for fiscal year 2021-2022. Ray Williams is here if you have questions about that.
Which one was it?
Item number 7.
Okay.
Oh, no question.
No, what's next?
Consider a bid award to Janie King of Montgomery for janitorial services for the restrooms at Elton Dean Park and the Montgomery County Activity Center.
That's awfully cheap.
Next agenda.
How she gonna be able to clean them like that?
We've looked into that and recognize that it's a
Huh?
very,
Really is. Who gonna buy, she buying her own equipment? Cleaning stuff costs more than that.
That's all we do.
we're going to monitor this closely, and if it is not, they're not providing the
Something we ought not
services.
even award, 'cause like I say, I saw that it was cheap too.
I mean, that's awfully cheap.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, you won't get the quality, it's cheap.
How often does the bathroom need cleaning out there? I mean, do they, are people using it on a regular basis?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It does sound a bit low.
Well, look at the other bids.
Yeah, I saw.
So, you know, this one is way, well, keep a check on it. You don't want that kind of-
Okay, next agenda.
Consider an alcohol license application for a special event for a Latino festival for October 10th.
Doug, can you get a resolution for that? Every week, every month.
Resolution, I'm gonna move it to your district.
That's okay.
Didn't you say they were doing something about that, trying to?
Yeah, they're gonna try to get a state, a year long, but they have to do it this way until, I don't know when, but they are working on getting that done.
Okay, all right, next agenda.
Consider an amendment to the agreement with the county attorneys for legal services. The proposed amendment extends their services for 1 year.
Where'd this come from?
Contract's over, right? Ends
Right.
September.
Contract.
Contract ends.
Rhonda, where are we with the project you're working on?
I'm sorry. I was reading
Oh,
something.
we're on number 11.
Attorneys.
Yeah, I believe that this is something I've talked to Carmen, and she's got the job description ready. And I would like to move forward with approving that and start looking at putting this out to find someone to serve in this position.
I mean, but this thing is for a year's extension
Correct.
of the current, what we got.
I see that. Yeah, I obviously wish that we had been more prudent and moved more quickly over the past 6 months, seeing as how we have not. I was hopeful for another 6-month extension with our current while we move on and hire someone new, but that has lagged, unfortunately.
We're
If
probably a year out anyway.
my concern, more than this contract, my concern is that we go ahead and begin to take seriously a search for an in-house attorney from Montgomery County. I think this is the prudent move. I think this is the necessary move to benefit us. Not any comments made on current counsel, but I think having someone in-house, full-time with the county would serve us well, looking at contracts, looking at issues, looking at procedures that we follow every day. That's where my focus is. Let's get that done and let's agree. I hope that we can all agree that we want to take that seriously and move forward with it.
I'm going to help with that. I'm going to help with that.
Okay.
But we
Meanwhile.
do the
Next agenda.
It's going to take a year.
Next
Okay, but yeah, thank you, Commissioner Harris. I appreciate your willingness, and I know that I've talked to other commissioners who are also interested in this process moving forward.
Yes, and I don't know where the responsibility lies as it relates to moving forward. I mean, I told you that I thought it was something that we need to consider, but am I to be responsible for it not moving forward?
No, no one's pointing any fingers.
Okay, next agenda.
Consider a final pay application to W.S. Newell and Sons for the renovations at the Old Selma Road, Dean Park.
What was that now?
This is the final pay application for Elton Dean Park. We had not released their retainage pending some items on the punch list.
For Newell.
Next agenda.
We also, for general information, we've got board member appointments to the Public Building Authority. We have 2 vacancies.
Dan got somebody.
Yeah, I got one. I'll get you the Michael Gibbs for the Public Building Authority. I'll get you his VTAC. I have it. I'll email it to you. I'll forward it to you.
Anybody got anybody else? Rhonda, good.
I don't, I know Ed Grimes was one of those. I don't,
Yeah, he gone.
And he resigned.
yeah, and I don't know if he came from,
I appointed Ed Grimes, gosh,
fill
probably
that one?
2014 or 15, so I can look for someone to take his place.
Okay.
And we also have vacancies on the Central Alabama Rural Planning Organization Steering Committee. There's some information included in the packet about that organization.
Who served on that? Who served on that committee?
Andrew Hall did, so.
Andrew Hall and Commissioner
Giles.
Williams. George Speak also
Very
serves.
Giles. I can roll it.
That's yours.
Giles.
That's
I'm trying to
yours,
corner you.
Doug.
Do again.
I
That's your
will,
seat, Doug.
unless somebody wants that, I will step up to that.
I just sent you that Michael Gibbs.
You not volunteer for that one?
No, it was,
I'm messing with you.
I had the wrong Giles.
Marion Giles in your district?
Who?
Marion Giles. Who is Marion Giles?
It's Marion Giles, isn't she, in your district?
Has Ms. Giles said she didn't want to continue, or has he?
No, that was Commissioner Williams.
Ma'am?
That's Commissioner Williams.
So Marion Giles is Commissioner Williams?
Right.
Okay.
You say Marion Giles is Commissioner Williams? No.
Yeah,
I know who she is, but I'm saying she ain't Commissioner Williams.
yeah.
I'm
Commissioner
sorry.
Williams dead.
Well, you need one more person.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is she still on the committee?
Is she still there, George, or she want off, or? Does she want to stay
But
on?
Commissioner Williams was on it too.
No, she resigned, Doug.
Oh, she resigns, okay.
Yeah. Those two, Andrew and those two resigned.
I can find somebody, if y'all want me to find somebody that will in the rural area, if y'all need me to, but
So y'all said Ms. Giles, she will resign.
Well, it just says she will need to be replaced.
Well, she probably don't want to be replaced. Somebody will probably want to be.
Well, yeah, somebody may want to
they-
check with her.
Yeah.
I thought it said she resigned, but
George, you got a contact for her? Do you know?
They probably haven't been
He
calling.
ought to. You know, that- Okay,
Need to be somebody out in the county.
Yeah, I can find somebody
yeah,
if y'all need me to. I'll do the one where Andrew was doing it.
okay. What's next?
We have a letter from Ellen McNair requesting an executive session concerning a matter of commerce or trade.
Okay, well, okay, now we can go through our regular meeting because what she's gonna talk about, we don't have to take no action.
So you want to,
I want to probably go on to the meeting because when we come out of that meeting, we can go in there.
and then following that, we'll have our meeting of the Emergency Management Board.
Which one do you think? What you prefer?
Certainly, that's up to y'all. Do you think we can have our executive session in 5 minutes?
In 5 minutes? No way.
Okay.
Shelby, how long? Is it more than 5? Less than 5?
Yes, sir. We can make it.
Let's do that.
Okay.
We need a break anyway.
All right.
So
Go in the room.
we need a vote to go into executive session.
We move to executive session.
Second.
Aye. We going in there, y'all. We going in the next room.